Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Dad Approach podcast. Today, we have an absolute banger of a topic for you guys. It's actually everybody's favorite topic to talk about, weight loss. That's everyone's favorite topic to talk about, of course. That is because obviously Britton and I are the absolute pinnacle, the absolute epitome of health ourselves, obviously. So we figured that today was going to be a good day to talk about that and to, share all our, sort of like, I guess you could say techniques and things that we like to do. I'm just kidding. Today we're going to talk about energy management. Some of those things may play into the topic, of course, but the main topic is going to be around energy management. It's a finite resource. How do we sort of manage those things ourselves? Let's just get into it.
In other words, we're kind of fat and we need to figure that out. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this.
So welcome back, everybody. We're happy to be here. I'm so excited to be with my lovely co-host here, Britton Holman. We're excited about today's topic because it's definitely something that is sort of like a daily reminder for ourselves. It's something that we have to do every day. It's sort of energy management. How do we account for that? I mean, there's a lot of things. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. So having sort of an idea of like some of the things that we do to sort of counteract that and survive each day. Obviously, it's important as parents, new parents, especially with us being new parents. It's important for us to have some sort of, idea or techniques or whatever you want to call it, solutions, all that stuff of how we sort of want to manage that. But before we get into the actual main topic, Britton, how has your past week been?
My past week, not bad. Sorry, I made notes because I'm exhausted and, speaking of
That's
energy
hence why we're
management,
drinking coffee. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. First thing is I got my attic done with all the insulation. So for those who haven't been seeing or watching the previous podcast, I've been redoing my attic space my entire garage, actually, renovating it.
Started with the attic.
Exactly. And been documenting it on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Stay at home dad psyd.
Go check it out. That's great.
Yeah. And so just got that done. Feels really good to have that done. Also, Cece's been like making these like big weird milestones, like nothing like specific, it's not like she's like she started walking or any of that, but like her personality has just blossomed a whole lot more. She obviously can't necessarily speak yet, but she's really learning how to communicate through like different things, like especially like with her hands and with her emotions. She's slowly starting to learn more when it comes to food. So that's been amazing to watch and see. Also, we just booked our trip to Disney World. We are really excited. My wife has a conference there, and so we are.
So why not tag along?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be
free
going.
trip. Not free.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah. So we're going to do that. Actually, her parents are also going to come and join us, and it's just going to be a really grand time. Cece's really small, so she won't really remember much of it, but we'll take lots of pictures.
Kind of for her, but mostly for the adults that will remember it for now. Because who does not love Disney, all right?
I know, right? And we're going to take lots of pictures and all that stuff, and we're going to
if you don't love Disney, then you may not be human. You may be a robot. Or
you
AI.
might as well just shut off this podcast right now. Please don't. We need the views.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, come back. Please, come back.
Anyway, that's about it. What about you, Steve? How's been your week, or I guess 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, man. We're definitely celebrating some milestones with Sienna. We're right on the cusp. We're right there, man. Like she's, especially today, even before I hopped in here to start recording with you. We talk pretty much every day. But I've been telling you how she's like really, really close to pushing up, because the big thing right now that we kind of struggle with her is that, not really struggle, just something that she gets frustrated by is she's on the ground on her stomach, and most babies at this age, she's about to be 4.5 months.
Yeah.
She can't quite fully, she's not balancing herself on her arms yet really fully, like consistently. And she's like right there pushing up. We had like some dancing fruit, I think, on the screen, and she was like on the floor playing with her toys, and then she kind of like just pushed up and was like looking at the TV before I came in here, and so she's getting really like she's right there, like you could tell that she's about to like flip the switch, and she's just going to be doing it every day because that's cool. Kind of typically what happens with babies. But yeah, so we're really excited about that because then that means she'll probably be a lot less frustrated when she's on the ground, which means she can have a little bit more independence. We did get like a little jumper thing, not an actual jumper because she's too little for jumpers. But she can kind of stand in it, play with some toys. It's just another option for her since she has reflux. So that she can be upright, especially after eating and stuff like that. But it's a way for her to have a little bit of play. So she's not just so that, mom and dad don't have to entertain her 24/7, even though we basically do anyway. But yeah, so that's been really, really awesome. She's starting to like grab her face a lot, really like when we're close, she's like really just kind of grabbing her face. It's adorable. And then yesterday I got a video of her with our dachshund. Our dachshund was kind of laying on the ground in front of her and was kind of like a very playful sort of positioning, and it was adorable. And then she kind of reached out to grab her face, and so I got this adorable video, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of teared up. I teared up for sure because it just makes me really happy seeing that. So yeah, my heart has been pretty full seeing all that stuff. So I've been really excited for the milestones that she's hitting, and I'm so proud of her. But yeah, so that's as far as like milestones for her. That's kind of like the major one. And then on top of that, not great news. We've been a little frustrated with our pediatrician situation because or at least our previous pediatrician at this point, she's just was very absent. Like we just kind of were having problems where she was, if we needed to message her about if we had any questions, like she was out and we'd have to talk to another doctor or another pediatrician, or she would have to reschedule. She had to reschedule a couple times. And so the latest hiccup that we ran into was supposed to be her 4-month checkup, which was, I think, a few days ago. Like it was Tuesday. And she apparently was like sick or something. She was out of office again. And we drove all the way there. It's a further drive. And so like it's already like a lot. We knew, it's the drive all the way out there, and then they let us know anyway that she wasn't there. So we drove all the way out there for nothing. And so that was just kind of the icing on the cake because my wife and I were already like considering transitioning off of her. So we were super frustrated that was icing on the cake. So we're hoping that we can find another really solid or find a solid pediatrician that is available, because that's kind of the biggest thing as a parent is having availability and consistency. So yeah, that's our next thing. We're finding we got another pediatrician. The appointment I think is probably like in a week and a half at this point as of the day that we're recording. I think that was it for that. And then lastly, you had to flex your Disney trip, so I had to flex my Hawaii trip. That me and my wife and
coming up
my
soon.
In-laws, a bunch of my family are going. We're going for my sister-in-law's 50th birthday. So we're going, I think we're going summertime. So it's like sometime in June. So yeah, I'm stoked. I've never been, I believe we're going to Honolulu is where we're going. I know you mentioned, I believe it was like Maui had like a super nice place to eat.
We got my wife and I got married in Maui, so we ended up having our like big wedding reception because it was just like immediate family only. So it's like a really small group. So we went to Mama's Fish House, and it was just phenomenal.
It sounded good, dude. The way you were describing it, I got really excited and really hungry. So I probably won't be checking that out. But
well, anyone watching this, if you have some like good food location suggestions for Steve, please put it in the comments so that way. He can figure out some fun stuff. We definitely want to check out all the delicious food for sure. So super stoked about that. I know my wife is definitely excited because she's not like me. I'm a big homebody, and she is definitely not. So I'm sure she is. I know she is very ecstatic about this trip. So that's mostly it for what's going on this week and sort of all that. So let's just kind of get right into it, I guess. Energy management. I'm gonna let you kind of flesh that out a little bit more, because I was kind of struggling on how to sort of describe this and explain this to other people. So you were doing it. So I'm gonna let you explain just a little bit of what your idea of it is. Yeah. So my philosophy of energy management, it's basically like this, like you said in the beginning, we have this finite amount of energy, and depending on what we do, it'll give us even more, it'll give us more energy for the day or give us less energy. So when you think about simple things like the amount of sleep we get, that's going to impact how much energy we have for the next day. Our diet, our exercise, our self-care in general, of how we, think of ourselves, how we do things for ourselves, and also to get into a little psychology stuff, like how we engage with our values and how we really lean into the things that are important to us, the things that give us meaning and purpose. Everything contributes to how we get energy and how we survive, basically. Yeah. And as far as what we do in the day, like that will also impact how we spend our energy. And again, we only have so much energy. And so there's things we have to do to get energy, because when you have kids and when you don't sleep much, you have to figure out, how can I make up for that literal lapse of basically fuel for our energy reserves. And so the main two things we're going to talk about outside of just the topic of energy management is diet and exercise, because those are two things that we have a lot of control over compared to many of the other things. Because when you have a little one, you don't always have time to do a lot of the self-care stuff that you used to do. No. So on and so forth. So what we eat or put into our bodies and how we move our bodies are two things that we have a lot of control over. And so that's my
I also just want to be clear too, going into the eating and exercise topic. Anybody that's watching that we don't know personally, we are not experts in this field at all. So we're just obviously speaking to our anecdotal experience. We're speaking to what works for us. Anything I'm really talking about in this area, I'm not trying to pitch as like the be all end all, and that what I'm doing is perfect and you should be following along exactly. But this is more of just like, this is what we're doing. Hopefully, maybe it does help. Maybe there are some things that you can adopt. I don't think we're necessarily doing anything insanely outside of the box that no one's ever thought of, that, you know what I mean? But this is just kind of sharing our experience and sort of how we approach things. So
we're not dietitians, and we're not physical therapists. The thing
I don't even have a degree. This guy does. So
it's fair. It's fair. It's right. It's right there. But nice. The main thing is that we talk about, like, what we're going to be talking about is our experience in, not even just our experience, but also just how we suck at it and how we want to be better, 100%. The main thing is not necessarily what we're doing, but how we do it is, or how we engage in doing something is really the most important part. So we'll talk about some aspects of our diet and of what we hope to do for exercise. And that's not necessarily saying about what we're doing is the right thing, but I think the way we're moving towards it is what we're really going to be talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I guess what I want to kick it off with you then, like kind of like sort of what is your approach, kind of daily, weekly, whatever, on how you kind of manage your energy?
So one of the main reasons why we're talking about this is because, I don't know about you, but I suck at this. Like, I genuinely am not good at it. My wife gives me a hard time very legitimately about how I'm not the best at taking care of myself physically. And so, I
mean, not to interrupt you, but like you were just telling me how the other day we were talking about how, like, when CC goes down for like a nap, you were like, okay, I should be doing this thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like whether it be self-care, but you're like, I end up just kind of scrolling my phone, and all of a sudden that nap time is gone. And so all the things that you could have done is just immediately gone.
Yeah. And so right now what I'm doing, so again, this is not saying this is what you should do. This is basically maybe what you should not do, I drink a whole lot of coffee. I drink probably 3/4 of a pot. So about 10 cups worth. So probably like,
that's pretty normal. I feel like I think most adults, especially parents, probably drink.
And if that's my primary source of income is caffeine,
you could have worse vice. It could be a worse vice than coffee.
But the problem is my body is adapting to that much caffeine intake, and so the impact of the caffeine is significantly
diminishing returns,
less.
yeah.
Exactly. And so the one thing that I do that I find helpful at times, and this might sound kind of strange, but I will take what I call a shower bath. And so basically what I do is I know, right? So we have one of those really nice rain shower heads. And so I basically like close it off and I turn that thing on pretty hot so it steams up the entire bathroom. And I just kind of sit there and just have it fill up the tub basically. And so by doing that in a weird way, it just helps me relax really a lot. And so that's like my little self-care
You're not
piece.
you're not looking for like I'm tired, I'm awake. You're just looking for a way to kind of relax. Because like I feel like most people I took a cold shower for that, right? So
yeah,
I guess I'm asking that's why you're taking a hot, steamy shower or bath versus taking a cold shower.
Yeah, because for me, it's like when you're watching your kid, you're always on. And so you are sucking energy out. And so, yeah, I can take I could take a cold shower to get a nice little, injection of energy. But what I need is something that can help relax my mind and my body so I can then feel refreshed to jump back into it.
Yeah. Also,
so for me personally,
I also want to clarify too, for those who may just magically be tuning in to this episode for the first time, we are full-time stay-at-home dads as of right now. So I mainly say that because like you're saying, like when you're watching your kid, you're always on. It's like that's true already. And then when you're full-time, it's like literally like, from the moment they wake up, essentially until your partner's availability, like, you're always on kind of thing. So
exactly. And so that's the main thing, the way that I kind of take care of my energy. That's how I currently do it. And again, like I have certain things that I do. Like I try to eat, we try to meal prep. That's kind of a newer thing, but we'll get into that once we get into like the healthy eating and the exercise portion. But yeah, that's how I do it. What about you? Like, how do you manage your energy right now?
There's kind of a multitude of things. And I also want to be clear too, like our conversation, like they all kind of blend together. We do have this sort of like the way that our podcast is sort of structured is we have like sort of a main topic and then we have subtopics that typically kind of fall in line or are very similar or just kind of in the same vein. Excuse me. So one of the things that I've been doing recently, it's not really naps, but like what I've been doing to try to kind of keep up some of my energy. Cause like, I don't want to sit here and say that one of the best things that my daughter has done and has been consistent about, since she's been around is, her night sleep has been really solid. Like she transitioned to like 4 to 6 hour nights, like sleeps, like, I mean, she's only 4.5 months old, so she's not, super old. But typically, even at this age, even my sister has said it. I've seen and read about plenty of people that still struggled to get 15-minute stretches, hour stretches, 3-hour stretches at a time. And so my daughter was doing that at like 2.5 months. She was already at the 4 hour to 6 hours. So we've been very fortunate that has like been the one biggest thing that she has been really good about and really consistent about. And so the night sleep portion is good. I don't get consistent sleep because just like most babies, especially when she was a little bit younger, she was waking up still consistently to eat. But now she's getting to a point, and I've told you about this before too, that she's almost at a point where she sleeps through the entire night without eating at all. She usually eats about at least one time. Some nights, like even like last night, I think she ate twice in the middle of the night last night, but still not terrible. Like it could be a lot worse. I could be waking up every hour, every 15 minutes, every couple hours, whatever. So I'm not gonna be upset about that. So I've been very fortunate that the night sleeps have been pretty good. Having interrupted sleep though still kind of does play an impact on me. I still kind of find myself waking up kind of like just a little sluggish, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so obviously like a morning coffee I'm really bad. I just recently kind of started getting back into drinking coffee. I drink a lot I have drinking a lot of energy drinks. I typically would go to Dutch Bros a lot. Dutch Bros, please sponsor me. So normally I would go to Dutch Bros and get a drink that's essentially an energy drink. It's like a blended energy drink mix. And so Yeah, that's like what I would do, like kind of for survival in the early mornings. And then when what I've been doing kind of recently, what I've been able to do, because my daughter also is starting to practice a lot more independence when it comes to her nap time. So she's sleeping in the crib more than having to sleep on us. For those of you that don't know as well, my daughter is, she has reflux and she is a Velcro baby. So she loves to be held by us a lot, needs us a lot. And so especially with our naps, we still do contact naps and we do contact sleep at night. But what I've been working on for the past couple sleeps with her sleep training is getting her comfortable being in the crib, going down, falling asleep in the crib, and then to sleeping that first sleep cycle by herself in the crib. And then basically once she's done with that, she'll wake up and then I'll pick her back up, rescue the nap, and let her sleep another 30 minutes to an hour, and she'll contact sleep the rest of the nap. So what I've been doing for that first stretch, and it's basically 20, I told you too, it's like 27 minutes to 30 minutes exactly. I can literally, like the moment I put her down and I know she's going to stay in the crib, I can look at the time and be like, all right, 9:56 is when she's going to get up. And literally like 9:56, 9:55, she wakes up. So what I do right now is like, I try to just, we have a chair in her room. I try to just kind of fall asleep, like within that, even if it's 10 minutes of that or 5 minutes, just a little something, it's like a little pick me up. And then she wakes me up because she'll kind of cry a little bit, not like a super big cry, but she'll cry enough that I hear it, even if I do fall asleep. So that's something that I've been kind of, that's something that I've been kind of doing. So it does kind of helps me have a little bit of a pick me up. I'm personally not at the point yet where I can, until she goes down for her second sort of stretch that I'm able to put her back in the crib. I can leave the room at that point, but until then I'm in the room with her for the first like hour of the nap. Yeah. So once I'm able to leave the room, that's when I can do things like, I don't know, just go relax on the couch if I need to do any like chores kind of stuff. Get another cup of coffee, whatever it is. Those are the kinds of things. So I've been trying to take advantage of actual like naps. And I know this is probably a pretty common thing, as most people probably try to, nap when their baby's napping. It's just, it's a little bit unique when you don't have a baby that is super independent yet and they're not sleeping on their own. So they're doing a lot of contact sleep. Yeah. So that's why it makes it a little bit tricky right now. So that's one of the things that I've been doing throughout the day.
Got it. To help manage your energy and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little pick me ups, here and there. It does kind of help me get through, because usually most people have a middle of the day slump, from anywhere from like noon to like 3 p.m. or whatever. It's like your middle of the day slump where you just kind of lose a lot of energy. So it kind of helps me get through that, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I think you've also been doing as well, at least what I remember, is you've been walking a whole lot.
Yeah. Which was one of the other things I was going to get to. It kind of fell in line with things. That's why I said this as we're talking, it's kind of blending everything together. But absolutely, the walks as well have been huge for me. I think I'm on like day 10. I just started this. Like I basically decided that since my daughter is such a Velcro baby, and when she's in her wake windows, like she just as of right now, she's very needy, and she gets fussy quick because, like I said earlier, she's learning how to push up on her hands. And right now, when they're on their tummy time and they don't know how to push up and hold themselves up, they get super frustrated because they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of floppy birding here on the ground. And so they get super frustrated very, very quickly. And she's learning to play with toys, but she's not 100% there. So everything is really just frustrating to her. So my wife and I end up having to just literally either have to sit with her, and it's normal stuff, but when you have to do it every single wake window for, the 1.5 to 2 hours, every single time, you get this sense of like, I have no time for anything for myself. And it's very exhausting mentally, and can be physically exhausting. So one of the things that I did to sort of combat that was kind of, I don't want to say it's a negative, but turn a negative into a positive and do something healthy for myself. And that was starting going on walks. And so it was literally at one point, every wake window, she's, even within this past week and a half since I've started, she's already, since she's getting better about pushing up on her arms and stuff, she's getting a little bit less frustrated. So I don't have to do it every single wake window. And on top of that, it's starting to get hot. And that's another thing too. You can't be walking, even if you have a cover, and I even have a fan strapped to the stroller. You can't take your kid out in that kind of heat. It has to be early morning or later in the day. So I already have to basically do early morning and maybe sometimes later in the day walks. But walking has been great. It's definitely helped like energy management and kind of boost some of the energy that I get throughout the day.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, when we think of energy and like this idea of energy management, probably like those little things is like how we survive, right? Because again, if you're spending that much time with your kid, like, yeah, you may not be moving around, but like there's this paradoxical thing that when you don't move your body, you tend to drain more energy than when you like do move your body in certain ways. And so you're basically are taking like a moment of time where you would usually be draining way faster. And then you're instead engaging, you're just engaging your body to be able to move and regain some of that lost energy and also take care of yourself a little bit while still taking care of your kid. So that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, I still think it's, you know, important to still have those moments where if you just need sort of like a mental reset or whatever, just take those times to, I mean, you know, be a little bit of a couch potato or whatever it is. But I mean, we've talked about it on a previous podcast of sort of like how beyond energy management, what does time management look like? And so I mean, I'm trying to fill the time in between my child's naps as much as I can with doing things that need to be done. But at the same time, I think I'm starting to learn now too, that like, cause I can get really anal about certain things a lot, especially like cleaning up certain things.
I don't get anal about anything.
I don't want to say, all right, calm down now. All right. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to say I'm not like OCD about it, but there's certain things that I really like. I'm like, I don't want it to be behind or anything like that. And some of it is just literally not cleanly at all. And so there's certain things you do have to keep up on, but smaller things just kind of like, it's like, okay, I don't need to do that right now. I don't even have to do that. There's sometimes like at night where I'm just like, I could be doing a bunch of stuff. I could be doing some of the chores or whatever. And I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Like I do have some time to do it tomorrow. It's better for myself mentally and physically just to kind of do something else that isn't constantly trying to do those chores. So that is something that I've kind of learned recently that like, I don't have to like constantly just got to keep doing it. Cause I'm
so proud of you, Steve. Good job.
Thank you. I'm definitely like, it helps me kind of just like slow down a little bit. And not mentally exhaust myself so much and essentially burn myself out. So and like with what you're saying there, I think that's such a important tool for any parent is that like, when you have so much energy or like this much energy, especially when you have, you know, consistent nights of broken sleep, like you have to pick and choose your battles. Like what is actually worth draining my energy on and what's worth not. And so I think your ability to start differentiating those things is huge because if you don't, right, like that leads into parental burnout, like easy. And so killing it there, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I really like talked about it specifically, but for you, like kind of for your days, I mean, we've obviously had pretty big differences as far as like, our kids' sort of personalities and tendencies and all that stuff. So, I mean, for you have a relatively structured sort of schedule throughout the day. So do you kind of look at your day and say, hey, this is what I'm going to kind of do for these blocks? Or do you kind of just get to that point and you're like, I'm winging it. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of doing whatever. So
it depends on the day. I will say I wing it more than it's structured. And that's not a good thing. I don't think. Now, don't get me wrong. There are days where it's totally worth winging it. It's totally worth like just kind of chilling out and not doing much. But for the most part, what ends up happening is like, you know, that doom scrolling that you mentioned that I do, like that's where that comes from is because it's not structured. One of the things that I've started to combat some of that doom scrolling is by listening to a book. One of the things that I find for myself is when I listen to a book, especially a book that I've listened to before, which might sound weird, but if I listen to a book I've listened to before, it's easy for me to focus on doing other tasks because the book is still something interesting to me. But since I already kind of know what happens, I can tune it out and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And so I find myself doing that quite a bit. And I really, the last couple of days, I've been doing that more. Basically re-listening to this like huge series. It's like currently 12 books long. And so I just started back at book 1. And because I use Audible, I've just been listening through it and doing stuff. And I found that's allowed me to do more things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't really adding too much more to that. I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah. And so
I was kind of curious. I was kind of curious a little bit more of like what that looked like a little bit more, because we do have such different experiences right now that I'm kind of curious. Like, I mean, I'm assuming I might get to that, I'm probably going to get to that point, Sienna's going to have a little bit more independence and the wake windows are going to look different, and maybe it will be more structured and it'll be a little bit more predictable. And obviously with kids, especially within their first year, it's such a roller coaster as far as like the leaps that they're going through, which AKA their fussy phases typically, and regressions, and which aren't really regressions, which I think it's funny that they're labeled as regressions. They're just developmental phases. And so it's really that first year is a roller coaster ride. And I'm going to think of it. You're about to be right at the, Cece's about to be a year old, which is crazy.
She's 11 months, she was 11
literally
months
over
earlier time. Yeah.
Like
and
a week.
So she is and like also that like that's been a huge change in what we do, because she's moving towards like losing formula completely. So we're having to be like thinking about like, okay, like how do we adjust for this like a huge amount of food intake? Now, thankfully, she's a great eater, loves food. But we've always done a lot of formula and used food as just the experience. But now we're like, okay, we actually have to figure out how much calories is in this. And so we think of things to spend energy on, things to spend obviously time on, which was, last podcast topic. It ends up realizing like, oh, the amount of time that I had for this other stuff is now diminishing even more. And it's also increased stuff like dishes and, maintenance of all of our food. Like it's increased the amount of time spent doing that. So it's like, it's funny, like as your kid grows older, certain things, the time spent like goes down, because now CC independent plays really well. And we're pretty good about controlling our environment to where like, we know she can't hurt herself when she's messing around with stuff. So we can, like less energy is spent on like, oh, what's she doing? Oh no. And more time can be spent, or energy can be spent doing other stuff. But it just all evens out as time goes on. It's
the next thing. It's whatever the next thing is. My wife and I talk about it all the time. Yeah. It's like one thing that you were so hyper fixated on, and you're waiting for them to get to a certain age that they grow out of it. And then they grow into the next thing. And then that's another thing you have to be aware of. Like for me, it's going to be like crawling, and for you, like Cece's basically standing full time almost now.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? So like now she's getting everywhere. You know what I mean? So there's so many different things as you go through all these phases, and I'm like, yeah, you don't even really think about it. It's always like you think about currently what's going on. You're like, oh man, I can't. It's like we always talk about. I feel like I've mentioned it in every podcast, but we keep saying like it's this weird. I don't want to say conundrum, but like catch-22, whatever you want to call it, where you're like you're looking forward to them getting older, because that means they're learning these new skills and they're growing out of certain things that maybe when they're really small, it can be really frustrating depending on your experience. Like I said, I know for you said you're Cece is the type of baby that, makes you feel like you can have like 10 kids or whatever. You know what I mean? Like she's just whatever. And with my daughter, I feel bad because I feel like I always like paint it like she's like some crazy chaotic child. There's definitely a lot of times where she can be super, super fussy and inconsolable in those things. And that comes with the territory, that comes with reflux. And it's a lot at times. But so I find myself being like, I can't wait for her to grow out of a very specific thing. But then at the same time, that means she's getting older, right? And then you're leaving this other phase of her life behind. Now she's older and she's never going to be that small again. And yeah, that's really like sad and like emotional. And so it's like this weird state where you're like anxious for the next thing, but you're also looking back and you're reflective and you're sad. I mean, even my daughter's only 4.5 months old. And like we look at our videos and pictures from 2.5 months ago and we get emotional because we're like, look how tiny she was, man. Like, look how small she was in this seat that we had her in or this little thing or carrier or whatever it is, man. You're just like, holy shit, like this, like they get big fast and you don't really realize it and time flies and all those cliche things that I'm saying. So yeah.
No, it is it's very true. The thing that has been, it's something actually Amanda, my wife, pointed out. They just did this trip, I think it was last week, to San Antonio. And that was actually when I did or finished the attic space of the garage. And she when she got back with Cece, she was talking about like how she's realized that she's kept on looking forward to the next step. And she realized like, I just need to pause and enjoy the now. Because like this is a really special moment. You know, she is, like I said, her personality is really sparking. She's a really happy kiddo, like, you know, especially like when you pick her up and she'll like laugh. And then if you leave like a door open that she thinks that she's not allowed to go into that room, she then will start like laughing like, ha, 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 as she's like crawling towards it. And it's like hilarious. Because sometimes we'll then have to grab her and then close the door. But like, there's moments when it's like, yeah, she can go in there. I'll just make sure that she doesn't get into anything that'll hurt her. But she loves it. She loves exploring. It's like this beautiful moment of just how her world is just opening up more and more and more. And man, it is crazy to think that like, it's going to feel like this time was yesterday, and then tomorrow's going to be, she's going to be like a teenager yelling at me for something that I did that she thought was stupid. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, I know. And then, you know, hopefully maybe we're still doing our podcast and we'll be talking about all the hurdles that we're, you know, going through at that point. Exactly. I was going to say though, about like you know, if she thinks she can do something, you know, or maybe she shouldn't, but she does. I was I was like the epitome of that as a kid growing up. And like, I mean, there was definitely things like if you told me not to do something, I most likely was going to do the opposite. I was like, I can't, huh? So like, I am like hyper aware of that. So I feel like I'm going to be like aware of that with my daughter when she's getting older. I'm like, you can't do that. You better not do that, blah, blah. And then she's probably going to try to push it. So.
No, I know my wife was like that. I was the epitome of a rule follower. And so it's going to be funny to see what Cece is like, what's her balance. I have a feeling she's going to be a rule pusher. Like she's going to figure out all the loopholes. Yeah,
she's going to push the boundaries.
And that's okay. Like honestly, like that is normal.
As long as she's not hurting herself, you know, she's not in serious trouble. She's not hurting herself. It's natural. That's what kids do.
Exactly.
So.
And so,
all right, well, I mean, we can kind of follow along with what we were, you know, sort of talking about with energy management. One of the things that we've been kind of talking about throughout this is sort of like healthy eating, sort of healthy habits and things that we want to instill for ourselves. I know something that we're already doing, my wife and I, and mostly my wife right now, she's the better cook. I barely would even consider myself cook. I cook, but I not a lot of different things. I'm getting there. I'm getting better. I mean, I've been making brownies, even though it's
I love
like,
that.
Hey man, a little baker. Trust me.
There's like 3 steps to it. You're killing it, man.
Exactly. We're starting off real easy. There's a box. It is some eggs, some water, and some whatchamacallit?
Oil.
Yeah, oil. So, hey, you know, every chef's got to start somewhere. All right.
Exactly. Way to go, man. I'm proud of you. Cheers.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers. So right now we've been talking about one of the things that we want to do. And it's always one of those, especially being in a marriage or a relationship or whatever, if one person really wants to try to do something, like, you know, the other person doesn't have to necessarily partake in it. They don't have to join in on it, but it is a lot easier when your partner is supporting you and is doing their best to join in on it, because that is the way to set yourself up for the most success. Because I could even remember when I was younger, and there was times where my wife was going through, she was doing like sort of like a workout program. It was called Results here in Sacramento. And she was just kind of getting into it, and they had like a very specific like eating regimen and all these things, and it was very bare bones. It was like disgustingly bare bones. But at the time, this is probably like 10 years ago, at least at this point that she was doing it. I was like, okay, you're doing it for you. I don't feel like I want to do something like that. I was still, at the time, I think I was still kind of going to the gym on my own. And so I was kind of active that way. And so I was like, I don't need to follow along any of the food stuff. I don't need to do any of that. I'm doing my own thing. And so I would still like order Domino's. And like, I remember one time she was like getting ready to go on this, like, not a marathon, but like, it was like I don't know. It was an event. It was like a run. They were going to run, not a triathlon, not a marathon. It was just like this running event.
Like a 5K, 10K?
Something small, just something small. I don't even know if it was a 5K. And I literally ordered pizza that night. And to be fair, I didn't want it to show up in front of I didn't want them. I thought they were going to leave a little bit sooner, but they didn't. And so this pizza showed up, and they're like getting ready to go like do a workout, and they're trying to eat healthier. And I'm like, I felt like such an asshole when that happened.
You kind of were, man, but it's okay.
I was younger and dumb and just like didn't really think about stuff like that. I was I don't want to paint myself to be like this super like inconsiderate idiot, but like when you're, especially men, when we're younger, like and immature, like you just you're very absent-minded. You don't think about stuff. So anyways, back to what I was initially trying to say.
That's not an excuse. If you are a young man, that is not an excuse. Like,
true. I don't want to make that as an excuse either. Trust me. Yeah, no, definitely not. But yeah, so I mean, really what I was trying to get to there was that it really does help when you have your partner engaged in sort of the things that you want to do. So my wife and I, she's been wanting to meal prep, and we're kind of trying to build out sort of what that meal plan looks like. And it's usually pretty basic. It's usually like at least you have to have protein, some sort of protein, whether it be chicken or, steak, whatever it is, whatever you want to use. And usually some sort of vegetable and probably some sort of carb, you know what I mean? But the biggest things is the protein and the vegetables. And so that's something we've been trying to narrow down. And my wife is probably just going to do. It's probably just going to be chicken. And I think chicken asparagus has kind of been the two biggest ones that we've kind of honed in on. But yeah, we want to start meal prepping that. And I want to help out with that and then be engaged in that. And especially as Sienna gets older and then she starts eating solids, like we understand that like it's our duty as the parents to try to instill healthy habits in our children. And how can we sit there and be eating a McDonald's burger and then be telling our child to eat their broccoli? You know what I mean? Like, it's like this weird thing where you got to lead by example. That's not to say that like my kid's never going to have a McDonald's burger, right? Like I'm not going to have I'm not like, look at me, man. Like I'm not the epitome of health and all these things. I am terrible when it comes to this stuff. I admit that. And that's what we were kind of talking about. It's like, we're both obviously like we're acknowledging that we're bad at this and we want to be better and we want to get better. And so, so being actively engaged with your partner in the meal prepping sort of portion, like I think is hugely important for a lot of people. And that doesn't mean that everybody has to do it, but that's what we're going to do. That's kind of what we're aiming to do.
I love that. I know the main thing for us is we're also really getting into meal prep. So we have these, I forgot what it's called, but basically it's a box full of cards that have recipes in them. And they're all slow cooker recipes. And so they're designed to make ginormous amounts of portion. Are you sure that's not just
your mother's like Rolodex of recipes that she saved throughout like the family recipes?
I wish.
Do you remember that? Like my mom had this, like, you remember those old Rolodex, those little paper Rolodex that you could either have like phone numbers on them or you could like, there's family recipes, like,
Yep.
Anyway,
But
sorry.
No, so it's not, it's definitely not those, but what it is like these like correlate or correlate, whatever that word is. But basically recipes that are all set up by week that has 5 different huge meals. And the problem is these meals are ginormous, especially for like 2 adults and 1 infant / toddler. Like it's plenty. And so we've learned that, we could do 2 slow cookers and that will cover us for almost the entire week. And so our grocery budget has actually, like, the amount of money that we spend
if you're able to eat the same thing pretty much and then also make enough portion to last you a week, like, hell yeah, you're definitely gonna save on groceries. It's a multifaceted sort of topic that we're addressing here. Like you're saving money and you're also building healthy habits. So
yeah. And like our main thing is that when we're exhausted at the end of the day, we are much more likely to choose the avenue of least resistance. And that's just a pure behavioral thing, is that your mind is going to want to choose a thing that's easier. However, if all the meals are ready, that is going to be the easiest thing.
100%.
Scoop it into
if
a
you wait
bowl
until
or
you're
plate.
hungry. Yeah, if you wait until you're hungry to make a decision, like it's too late. Like if you're already hungry, that's where you get yourself into those positions of like, I just need food, and then you concede and then you eat the thing that's bad because you're like, I need something fast, I need something now. So if you already have all your stuff meal prepped, like you're ready to go, man.
We're good to go.
I mean, I'm sure anybody out there that's tuning in for this, like you're probably like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But I mean,
here's the thing is that the thing that I've learned a lot just with even in my field is that knowledge by itself rarely ever leads to behavior change. And so you might have the knowledge that, yes, it makes sense why meal prepping could be better long term. The problem is you actually have to engage in that behavior. And in order to engage that behavior requires a lot of prep work and a lot of steps that are actually kind of hard to begin with, because you have to teach yourself a brand new skill. You're not really good at it. And so you might knowledge wise know, hey, this is the healthier choice. However, our mind is going to choose a habit that we're used to. Right? It's like we know that making our own coffee is healthier. However, going to Dutch Bros is the habit, and that's way easier, right? And so
sponsor me, please.
Exactly. So please don't. That's
find
bad
me, Dutch Bros. Anybody, send it to Dutch Bros. Send it to corporate.
There you go.
Whoever does the sponsorships.
And that's really the case for, whether you want to eat healthy, whether you want to exercise regularly. Like for me, I have way more neural pathways towards making better food than I do towards exercising. Exercising is my probably kryptonite.
Your existence.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the main thing for me is I start exercising, I can be pretty good at it, but because I have no system that's actually super myelinated in my brain, it basically will fall off whenever something happens. Like I remember not this last year, but the year before, I started running pretty consistently and I was doing really well for 2-3 weeks. I was doing solid. Yeah. However, this wasn't even the one that we did together. This was a separate one.
It's separate.
Yeah. And so what ended up happening was I got COVID out of all things. And literally I couldn't run for a little bit of time and then I completely fell off. And I remember having so much energy during that time. I had tons of legit reasons why I should have got back into it. However, because the systems weren't there, because the accountability wasn't really there, there was genuinely no stakes for me to jump back into it or not jump back into it. There was no penalty other than feeling meh. It was actually easier to be like, well, I don't need to run today. Oh, I can't run as far as I did before because I stopped running for a week. So, and my lungs are a little bit weird. So I'm just going to not run today. And then that became the habit because that's what's so easy for me. That's the part that's super myelinated. That's a behavioral pattern.
Do you think
not healthy.
Part of the barrier to entry for you is also since you haven't really spent much time in a gym in general. So there's also that feeling of it's intimidating to be in a gym environment. Yeah. For lack of a better term, you don't understand your way around a gym. You haven't used all these machines or free weights and all these things. Right. Do you think that was probably also maybe a mental barrier to entry kind of thing?
Weirdly enough, that is a great question. I've worked out with other people enough to know the movements and the exercises that are okay. The thing that was hard was I was pretty insecure about how I looked and where I had to start weight wise. So it's I have these literal, because again, just you grow up men are the tough guys. Then I have this generally fit girl that has these 35-pound weights and she's chucking around they're not nothing. Here's my 5-pound weights,
Exactly,
And so there was just this genuine feeling of like, oh, I'm not good at this. Oh, I suck at this, which is funny because
it's not about that. It's not about that at all.
I
It's
know,
not
but
about
what's so
being
funny
good
is
at
like this is what I'm talking about. Knowledge by itself rarely leads to behavior change. As a psychologist, I know exactly like how very good like habits start. You have to start small. You have to do increments. You have to accept the fact that you're learning a new skill. Like I could go into depth on the theory and all the systems behind it, and because I have the knowledge, that's not going to lead me towards building those habits and that behavioral change. In order to move in that direction.
I mean, it's human nature, right? Like it still comes down to like human nature. Like you can have all this knowledge, but then you get in there and then you can't change the way that you feel inherently about the situation that you're in, right? Like you just naturally, instinctively are going to feel the way that you feel. And so, I mean,
there's systems for that too. There are systems how to respond to those feelings, like tons of stuff.
Easier said than done. It's always easier said than done, though. You get yourself in a situation and you're like, oh, I'm uncomfortable.
And this is why you can't be your own therapist.
Hey, for notes for everybody out there, your psychologists are humans too. All right.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, so as far as
doctors make the worst patients.
But yeah, no, I've been there, man. I've been I see. It's funny because I'm the opposite. Like the gym. Hell yeah. Especially if I have like a workout partner. And that's one thing I met with me being in California and being away from a lot of my friends that I used to work out with back in Washington and being around them. I do miss having at least a workout partner. That was really, really big for me. Having someone to hold you accountable is, you know what I mean? Like you can, it's really huge. Honestly, it helps a lot, you know, to have both people holding each other accountable. And having someone there to work out with you has been great. So I think, but I was there once, man. I especially early on, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had it took time, and I also had friends that like knew what they were doing, so they helped me. Because like half the battle too is like you could know like technically what the workout is that you're supposed to do, but like form is obviously also a huge portion of that, and getting your form down and making sure you're doing you're doing the workout properly and all that. Like, yeah, man, there's a lot to it. And obviously I today isn't about us like getting into like the nitty gritty of like going to the gym and these are the specific things you need to do. It's more of like a general outline of these are the things that we are doing and or want to do to improve energy management, time management, our lifestyle, all these things, because at the end of the day, I think it's, the healthy eating and the exercise also boils down to I want to make sure that I'm here as long as I can be for my child. I want to make sure I'm available for them. I want to make sure I'm healthy for them. I want to make sure that I can play with my child. I can be active in that. And like, as sad as it is, rest in peace, Dad. My dad was not really a great example of like what to do health wise. My dad constantly made the worst possible decisions his entire life. And whether it came to eating and physical activity, he wasn't physically active and he did not eat well at all. And that's ultimately what drove him to, an early grave, essentially. Like my dad was not that old. And so, so for me, and we've talked about this before off the podcast, that, I didn't have the best example of like, what was the right decision, what are the right things to do and all that stuff. So it's another thing where I want to show my child, like, you have to lead by example. And so this all falls in line with that. At the end of the day, it's about teaching our child like good, healthy habits in general. So I know we kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but it's still within the same vein of what we were talking about.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it was a rabbit hole well spent, because again, it's important for us to be able to like share our own experiences in these things. And I think like with that, like if we're talking about like, in my life, what I've learned, what motivates me most, and kind of like similar to what you said about the gym, is when I have genuine accountability where I'm doing it with someone. Like, when I started to do my running program and we were doing it together, and then you kind of like, because, a lot of stuff was happening with like Sienna. So
the weather, it was like the weather. It was just pissing rain for like a week straight. And it's like you said, like you fell off because you got COVID. Like any time, like when you're building a habit, you're absent.
Exactly. And like for me, like I was really like, and this was my own fault for putting all my eggs in this basket. But like, I was like, oh, I got to work out because Steve is also working out. Oh, I got to work out because Steve is also working out. And then when you kind of fell off, I was like, oh, I guess I don't need to work out today.
Which I thought it was kind of funny because I didn't think it was funny, but like, you were the one that brought it to you were the one that brought it to me. I didn't go to you about it. So in my head, I was like, he was already doing it for himself, but he brought it up to me and said, hey, do you want to hop on the bandwagon? Yeah. So in my head, I was like, even if I miss out, because I had every intention of continuing to do it. I was like, I got to get through the rainy days. And then I noticed you weren't doing it. And then I kind of was just like, okay. And I kind of just like fell off. Because then I also realized too that I'm older and my knees do not like running. So that's why the walking is perfect.
You are literally only like 9 months older than me.
Dude, the running, but we've also had different physical, like I've worked out like a lot previously. You know what I mean? I've had up and down like my knees.
That means you should have better knees.
No, dude, that does not. Not if you make bad decisions, man. Like my knees are definitely not like they're not like torn up or anything like that. But I just noticed that it's more of a struggle for me. So I'm less like I'm going to fight it more mentally. So I want to set myself up for success. So I'm going to do sort of cardio exercises that I actually want to do. It's not a dread and I can actually do it. Right. So the running portion for me like wasn't the worst, but it was I didn't look forward to it. I looked forward to the exercise and I looked forward to being accountable and doing it and being consistent and knowing that you're doing it and I'm doing it. But the actual running portion, I was like, physically, I was like, this is kind of like holding me back a little bit. So I was basically already thinking about being like, I'm not going to do the running, but I will go crazy on the walking. So it's funny that I'm already kind of doing that now. And I know that obviously we're talking about it right now, that we're going to, as far as exercise go, I started to get the cardio in each day. My goal is to do 10,000 steps. I have an app. I have to do at least 10,000. I've been pretty good about it. I end up actually doing more than 10,000 most days because especially if my daughter falls asleep while she's in the stroller, that's like if I'm talking on the phone, I call you all the time when on my walks, windy or whatever. You're trying to listen to me. It's all windy and stuff. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's kind of funny too. Cause, side note, my wife, she went to go take our daughter on a walk and she had the headset and I had to call her she called me for something really quick and it was windy that day. And so I was like, oh, this is what it's like to try to talk to me while it's windy. I was like, this is not great. I am so sorry to everybody that talked to me while it's happening.
It's totally fine. And I mean, I think that the main thing though, is that like really the thing that really killed us with the last one is, one, I came to you and said, hey, let's do the exact same plan. And obviously you were like, that's not this type of workout that I like to do. So you kind of already turned off there. For me, I've learned that I have to have both accountability and stakes in order to continue doing something. And I know that's not necessarily the best. And I know myself enough to know that's what is the most likely case for me to follow through. And so I think like when we think of like this next step of like, how do we become more healthy? I think what we have to do is we have to create stakes and accountability in order to do what we want to do. Because I think you shared something that was really important and I think was really crucial is you shared the values of like the purpose, the meaning behind like, this is why I want to be healthy. I want to be able to play with my kid. I want to be able to do all those things. And that's part of me too, is like Cece is running around. She's doing a lot of stuff. Like, she loves me like dancing with her and doing all those things. And I'm like, I'm getting winded. I know, right? And she's like, she is a small baby, right? Like, and that's just because her parents are small, right? Yeah. And here's the thing is, if this is already hard and she's this small, what's going to happen when she's like double in weight? You like
trying to jump on your shoulders or your back. And
I know. And you're going to be like, ah, like pop, And so this has to happen soon, right? Yeah. And so the way that's going to happen is if we do it. And the way that, I don't know about you, but the way I'd love to do it is, why don't we build a contract? We have this podcast as our accountability partner, and we have each other as accountability, and we need to create some stakes. Like, what happens if we fall off? What's our punishment?
We sell our houses.
If we fall off.
We sell our house. You want steaks? That's
realistic.
steaks.
That's like, no, not that kind of steaks, man. Something that we can actually pay, because our wives would not be on board with that. And
it doesn't
my
matter. I'm making an executive decision right now.
Okay. As both of our wives actually make the money and actually are the ones that pay for our house.
Yeah, you're right. Whoops, got ahead of myself.
We have to something that we can actually pay, but yeah,
brownies.
So that's
paying brownies. That's a healthy habit.
Oh yeah, that's great. So that's kind of my thought is we create this system where we create a contract, and obviously, and then we give our updates during these podcasts, and we give our 2-month update to see if we have to pay the stakes or if we get to be saved from the stakes.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as we get something, right? It doesn't have to be a punishment. It can be a reinforcement as well, or a both and. So
yeah, I think it's a good idea because, I mean, for you like having stakes, you like having accountability. I like having accountability. I don't know if I necessarily, like, for me personally, this is just me, but like the stakes for me is like literally my future. You know what I mean? Like how long I'm gonna be around. So like my life is my stakes. But it's just one of those things where like, you need to do it. And like you said, like knowledge doesn't necessarily mean that you're like going to do something just because you know that you should do it. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like having a kid puts a lot of things in perspective. And so, yeah, I'm totally down. Like, I know we're kind of announcing it on this one. We don't really have all the details as far as like what the contract looks like and all that. Yeah. So it's also mainly because we're really just kind of building out like what does our eating habits look like and exercise, because along with cardio, like doing walks, I also have dumbbells and stuff at home. I do have a bench press, like a bench. All that stuff. Probably going to end up getting rid of that to clear out space, but I do want to keep my dumbbells so I can do other forms of sort of weightlifting to a degree. So I definitely want to get into that as well instead of just doing the cardio. But the cardio, the walking every day is a fantastic first step. Like if for anybody that's trying to get into it, again, you've probably heard this everywhere. Like walking is great for everyone, and it's easy to do, especially if you have a kid that you're still kind of walking around in a stroller, like, and the weather permits and all that stuff. I've been enjoying it, man. I look forward to my walks because it's good for my daughter to get out. She gets to be entertained. It's good for my health. I love calling people and just, bullshitting while I'm on calls and stuff. I'll walk forever, dude. When I'm talking to someone on the phone, I'll walk for so long. I'll just go. So yeah, I mean, this is it's great and I love it. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to kind of mentally be in a better spot because that's always the tough thing too. It's just mentally, sometimes you want something and you should do something, but the hardest thing is always starting it, taking that first step. And I'm pretty sure that most people can agree with this, that taking that first step really is the hardest part of it. But once you get into, you start building those habits, and if you have anybody out there that can hold you accountable, all the above, like, man, you are going to feel much better. And that's why I think you were saying earlier that it's crazy how like you started doing your workouts and your runs and your walks and stuff, and you were feeling really good and you feel like you could see all this energy. But it's so easy for you to stop, even though you saw this huge benefit, right? You see how good you feel and you look good, feel good, and all these things. And then we just stop. It's crazy how that happens, right? Like you can see how good you feel, but we just still go, I'm just going to stop and cancel out all the work I've done. It takes so long to do those things. It takes so long to lose weight. It takes so long to build habits, but it takes so much less time to just destroy all of it. To just completely reverse it all.
The reality is that when you have a pathway in your brain that's created, that doesn't just go away, right? So if you've been spending 20, 30 years doing very little, right? Like eating junk food, doing all the things that are unhealthy, right? That pathway, even when you're building that new pathway of exercising regularly and you're seeing the benefits, that other pathway doesn't just go away. So the idea of when the system that you created, the fragile system, right? Because that's almost all systems are at least a little bit fragile in certain ways, right? Yeah. If that system breaks down, it's like literally jumping into a fast moving river. Like you literally fall into the river and then boom, you're now down that other pathway. And then when you start adding in like the shame factor and the piece like, oh man, I can never get out of this, or I just suck at this, right? And the thing we know about shame is shame will always reinforce the behavior that you're wanting to change. And so that means that you're just going to jump in and stay in, and you're going to go back and you're going to create these excuses. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, my lungs feel a little weird. Oh, I don't need to do this. Steve stopped exercising, so I don't need to exercise. Like, you will start creating all these excuses because that pathway is so well established and it feels so comfortable being in that pathway that it's almost impossible, but not impossible, but it can feel that way to actually get out, walk back up the riverbed that you just jumped out, and continue digging that new pathway with your broken shovel.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Holman. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We talked about it before. It's like we've said, like, when we started this podcast, that like I'm a normie, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I just like, when the way that I talk is very just like bah, 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 bah. But like when you talk, well, the way that you explain things sometimes it's very elegant. It's much more elegant than what I do. So I appreciate that. I like the, what is it, like the dichotomy or the dynamic, or is dichotomy?
Dynamic.
Dichotomy? Yeah, the dynamic or whatever. I'm trying to make up words. I'm trying to use big words. But,
dichotomy is a word, but yeah.
Dichotomy is, but better. I don't think it's the word that it's not applicable in this situation. I like that it's different between us, the way that we talk about things, and you explain things differently. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, I think that's mostly kind of like what we're going to cover. I know we didn't go, for those of you that are tuning in, if you want to just go into greater detail, that's something that we can definitely explore in the future. But I think it's mostly like kind of what we wanted to cover for today. As far as the contract thing that we're going, we plan on for the next podcast. If you're invested with us and you wanna tune in to hold us accountable and to go in the comic section and tell us to not be lazy, then absolutely join along with that. We would love that. So yeah, be prepared for the next podcast for us to kind of, add the like sort of what the stakes are, what we plan on doing with it, and all that stuff. So we'll go over that next time. Before we like fully wrap up, I did want to bring up one thing. It's completely random, completely off of this. I didn't even tell you I was going to bring this up.
I don't even know what's going on here. All right,
it's a little bit of a scandal. It's like a little bit of a fun. Well, not really fun. It's actually kind of like creepy. Not really creepy. Kind of gross. Terrible words to describe it, but
I'm getting concerned here. Do I need to cut this out?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. But it is completely different from the topics of what we've just been talking about. So it's something that has kind of happened in the past, or had happened in the past, but it kind of popped up again recently. But have you heard about the Frida Baby stuff that's going on with like their slogans, all their products? So basically,
I didn't know, what is it? Frida Baby? What?
Frida Baby, yeah, it's a brand. It's like a baby brand, like stuff like it could be for binkies and teething stuff. Like it's a brand. Frida Baby is like a brand for infants and babies and all that stuff. And basically, recently and previously, they've kind of come under fire because their slogans that they've been using essentially are like sexualizing babies almost, in a way. And everyone's like, a lot of people are like, they come under fire because it's like, what are we doing? Like, but like babies is definitely one of the biggest topics. Like there's no fly zone as far as like sexualizing and all that stuff. And so this is something that kind of popped up back recently. I was trying to find one of the slogans that they used. It's literally like on the side. Like when you go to like the store and you grab the box for the product, on the side of it, it'll like say something. And it's like, it is basically insinuating something sexual. So let me see if there's one that's like, it says boobs, everyone loves to see them. Like that's like one of them. Where that's like a slogan that they have on one of their products. Let me see. There's another one that's like, let's see here. Oh yeah. And there's like one, it's for their forehead. There's a picture I'm looking at. It's a 3-in-1 ear forehead touchless thermometer, but on the side of it says, how about a quickie? You know what I mean? So it's like they have these weird like sexual like slogans on their products. And there's another one I think it's for like a binky or something. It says, I'm a power sucker. And like, there's like all these things that they're insinuating. And so people are like, basically Frida Baby is coming under fire. So, I was kind of, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but I thought it was something that I kind of like bring up because I thought it was interesting that, I mean, it's definitely gross, but like, you didn't, like, I wasn't fully aware. My wife was actually the one that brought it to my attention. And then I just thought it was something that was interesting and kind of crazy that a brand like this would just be so bold, like put stuff like that on their products.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. So I know I'm like glancing at a USA Today like article about it. The thing that makes me wonder is like maybe their marketing team was like, oh well, like technically it's the parents that buy these, so maybe they'll find it funny and then they'll buy the product because they find it funny for like what it is. And the hard thing though is that like, not like many parents will probably like they didn't think about the idea. Oh, we're sexualizing the kid, like the kids or the babies. It was more targeted towards the parents, and I can see how like that exploded. Probably
I can see that too, but that would be for like adult products, not like when you put something on a baby product that's associated with a baby. It's hard to differentiate that. You know what I mean? So like, it's like, why are you putting those on baby products?
Yeah. And that's my point is that like, they think, oh, parents are the ones that buy these products. So it's the adults that buy these products for the kids. So therefore it's the marketing's for them. And at the same time, how can you not differentiate how could you differentiate when there's literally a picture of a baby with like their feet up, you know, exactly. In a way that's a little bit more like, oh, I don't want to have my mind connecting those two dots, especially with a lot of the significant like content that's out there on the main news about sexual predators and sexualizing.
There's so much with like
children.
AI going on that's taking. I mean, that's why a lot of parents. I mean, that's why we're not putting our kids on the internet because there's AI that's going and scraping the internet. It's taking pictures of children and putting them on AI models, and they're sexualizing those. Right? Like I think we briefly mentioned it before.
It's really bad timing.
Disgusting.
It is. Yeah. Like, it is. It is bad timing and it is gross considering that piece. Like my mind always tries to think like, what's the cause? Like, what were they thinking? You know, because obviously this is bad. And what were they thinking? And I can see like how maybe that's what it was. And again, that doesn't. So one of the things that I always say is that like intention matters, but impact matters more. Right. Yeah. And so while their intention could have been funny, the impact was, oh gosh, you just sexualized a baby.
It definitely was a high risk, high reward thing because first of all, my brain's kind of thinking like, why do you even need like a slogan for baby stuff, right? Like baby products are going to sell themselves off of strictly like need. You don't really need a slogan to sell your product, a baby product, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't need that. So I don't need that to want to buy it. You know what I mean? I just need to know if the product is good or not. That's what determines whether or not I buy it. So even if it was funny, even if it was actually non-sexual and all that stuff, it doesn't mean I'm going to buy the product. So it just feels like this weird, like high risk, high reward game that they were playing. And then now it's fired back because like, I mean, a lot of people, unless you live under a rock, like they're going to see this stuff and like there's no way that my wife and I are getting any Frida Baby products after this point. You know what I mean? So it's like you lose a lot of, I mean, I don't know like any numbers as far as like how many sales were impacted or what that looks like, but I can imagine it's probably a decent amount. Right. So I especially now in this day and age, man, like some of these companies just be making some bold decisions and bold moves. And it's like, I feel like everybody is so like the zeitgeist, everything in the zeitgeist, like everybody's so hyper aware of like a lot of this stuff now, like especially with the internet and cancel culture is a real thing, man. People will be out there trying to get anything. So they'll use any tiny way in, man, to get you got to be hyper aware of that as a company. So it's crazy. Yeah,
it is. I mean, but I do want to read since we are talking about this, we will also like read their response because they actually did respond to it. So they said, our products are designed for babies, but our voices has always been written for the adults caring for them. Our intention has consistently been to make awkward and difficult experiences feel lighter, more honest, and less isolating for parents. We will continue to show up with honesty, empathy, and courage. With each decision we make, we will continue to evaluate how we express our voice, and so that our commitment to families is unmistakable and our tone always meets the moment.
Yeah.
And
I mean, sorry, you finish first.
And I think that, oh, that's hilarious. Remember how I said like intention matters, impact matters more? So I scrolled down and it shows like Frida's Instagram post or in Instagram, and literally the first thing it says is intention matters, impact matters more. And so the thing that is important is that like I do like the fact that that they are refining. So obviously I said what USA Today had on here. The full comment is actually on their Instagram page that you can read. So the main thing is that like I do appreciate the fact that they have acknowledged it and that they're like, this was a screw up and we're super sorry.
Well,
like, I mean, it was meant to be funny and it was not.
It was, but I know the intention was for it to be funny, but like literally, this is one of the other ones that they had on there. I don't feel like you can interpret this any other way. But one of the slogans was, "This is the closest your husband's gonna get to a threesome." Like, how else do you interpret that?
Oh, buddy,
you know what I mean?
That's rough.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, you could be like, "Oh man, it's pretty." It's like, not that bad.
Yeah, their marketing team was probably just like, what's some sexualized content that we can put in there
I forget what the product is.
And it's like, do you even realize like what that makes it sound like? What?
Yeah, what that's implying. Yeah, it's terrible. So
that's rough.
This whole thing is crazy. I know it's like completely off topic of what we were just addressing, but it's pretty crazy. And it just seemed like a big product. I'm pretty sure Frida Baby is a pretty big product in the baby world. So I just thought it was pretty crazy. And so it's come back up recently because I believe there was like some more of the stuff that kind of popped up. So man.
But yeah, no, that's crazy
stuff.
That is rough. Like, and again, I think to be clear, like, you should never sexualize a kid.
No,
that seems 101, and this company unfortunately has to learn the hard way that this was not appropriate.
Yeah, it's a hard stand when it comes to kids.
Especially in today's climate and what's happening in the world, especially, like I said, regarding especially the U.S. current political climate of certain things that are being not addressed. And so the main thing is that like it's just not appropriate.
Yeah.
So
no, 100%. I mean, that I feel like that's there's no even like, can we walk the tightrope? Can we try to like make this work and make just don't even bother. Like when it comes to kids, why do we even like, no, just leave them alone. Damn it, dude. Just why? Yeah. So anyways, I thought it was crazy.
Yeah. And no, that does like there's this part of me that like obviously, and maybe this is a fault of mine, that I always try to think think best or the most optimistic view of what this company or what anyone does, right? And again, that could be a problem. And so like I can just literally imagine like them saying, "Oh, this will be funny, this is a thing," and then like literally just for some reason their entire marketing team, their lawyer staff, and everyone just missed the fact there is nothing good about this. They literally got caught in this groupthink, aspect, and then all of a sudden they launched a product that literally damaged their product line, their literal like I don't know, just bottom how line? People view them. Yeah, well, not really just bottom line, but their reputation, like what they stand for, like their company values, so many different things. Like it literally tainted all of that, and just because not one person thought. What's the grander
before we actually start making these things, is this
appropriate? Right. And again, like that's probably, I can just imagine, like, because that happens sometimes. People get so tunnel visioned into an idea that everyone just jumps into it, and then all of a sudden it comes out and boom, like, whoa, like you just launched a product and people aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you sexualize a child.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I guess, folks, with that, Frida Baby Company is confirmed to be in the Epstein files.
Oh, gosh.
Confirmed.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody joining in today. Mm-hmm. It was a good one today, but we appreciate everybody. You know, what do you think about? I mean, what do you think about the Frida Baby situation? What do you think? You guys have any healthy habits? Any exercise that you guys are doing out there? Do you have energy management that you guys? Is there anything that you guys? Any tools? Any? I keep saying techniques because I'm stupid and don't have another word to say. But technique, whatever that you use daily or weekly, monthly, whatever it is that you use to help manage your energy, we would greatly appreciate it if you share it. Please like, comment, subscribe, all the good things, all the cliche YouTube things. We appreciate you joining in, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
See y'all.